Hello, my name is Lumile Makalima and welcome to my Weshare project presentation. I'll be focusing on section A of the project, which is research and data analysis. Now, with regards to the project overview, we're developing a client and server component for a web application. The web application is Weshare, which is a social expense tracker. The web application was based on a social trust and it tracks expenses shared amongst members of the trust, and all members were required to log in using their emails, and there were no password that were required for them to log in. During the development of our project, we heavily relied on computer technology for research purposes. Specifically, we utilized various computer applications such as IntelliJ and VS Code for coding, JavaScript for client-side rendering, and frameworks like Node.js for server-side rendering. These tools enabled us to efficiently analyze the requirements as well as to implement the solutions. Now, moving on to the planning as well as the documentation for the project. Our research and development process spanned several weeks, beginning with understanding the project requirements outlined on the curriculum website of Within Code. We meticulously documented our progress, noting timelines, research methods, and sources of information. The comprehensive planning ensured that we stayed on track and we also met our project deadlines. The internet served as an invaluable resource throughout our project journey. We utilized online documentation, forums, and tutorials to deepen our understanding of various concepts such as server-side rendering, client-side rendering, and distributed components. This allowed us to leverage best practices and stay updated with the latest advancements in web development. And for presenting our research findings, we opted to use Google Slides. This choice was motivated by the collaborative nature of Google Slides, enabling seamless sharing and editing amongst the team members. Additionally, its intuitive interface and extensive templates library facilitated the creation of visually engaging presentations for the project. Our project Weshare was built using a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We chose these technologies for their versatility and widespread adoption in website development. Additionally, we utilized HTML editors like VS Code for its robust features and ease of use, enhancing our productivity throughout the development process of the project. Our web browser plugins, such developer tools found in browsers like Chrome, and Firefox played a crucial role in debugging and optimizing our code. These tools provided insights into DOM manipulation, network requests, and performance metrics, which enabled us to identify and resolve issues efficiently. To analyze and accumulate data for our Weshare project, we implemented various data gathering techniques such as user surveys, feedback forums, and analytics tracking. This data was then meticulously analyzed to derive meaningful insights, informing our decision-making process and driving iterative improvement to the platform. And moving on to the next slide, our choice of HTML editor VS Code was motivated by its user-friendly interface, extensive plug-in ecosystem, and strong community support. And additionally, we utilized version control systems like GitLab for collaborative development and seamless code management, ensuring the integrity and reliability of our projects. And then moving to the next slide. In conclusion, our research findings underscore the importance of leveraging computer technology and internet resources in project development. Through meticulous planning, utilization of development tools, and data-driven decision-making, we have successfully navigated the complexities of web development, culminating in the creation of Weshare, a robust and user-friendly platform for sharing resources. And this brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I am Lucy and I will be talking about the cost and benefit analysis. So, the cost and benefit analysis involves evaluating the costs and benefits associated with the project to determine its potential return on investments. Yeah. The purpose is to weigh the expected benefits of a project against its cost to determine whether the investment is justified and whether the project aligns with the organizational goals and priorities. So different parts of a cost or benefit analysis include identifying and quantifying the costs and benefits, considering the time value of money, assessing risks and uncertainties, and comparing the alternative courses of action. So with regards to the Weshare application, the Weshare application aims to facilitate expense sharing and management amongst users. The benefits include improved financial tracking, increased efficiency in managing expenses, and enhanced transparency in expense sharing. So the cost associated with developing the Weshare application would include the development resources, the infrastructure costs, and the ongoing maintenance. So yeah, and then we have the cost estimate preparation. So cost estimation involves like predicting the financial resources required to complete the project. The cost estimates are typically prepared based on the breakdown of the project, like components, like considering factors such as like labor cost, material equipment, and the cost estimate should take into account the cost estimate should take into account potential risks and uncertainties, as well as the need for contingencies, like for account for unseen circumstances. So with regards to our project, the cost estimate for like developing a Weshare app would involve the resources required, like such as coding, testing, server hosting, and the ongoing maintenance. The development time estimate would consider tasks such as implementing the expense management feature, the user authentication, and session handling. The infrastructure costs would include expenses for server hosting, database storage, and additional resources required for scaling the application. And we have the time estimate preparation. So the time estimation involves predicting the duration of each task of the project. So time estimates are typically prepared based on historical data, expert judgment, and consideration of factors such as how complex the project is, what are the available resources, the dependencies, and the constraints. The time estimate should be realistic and account for factors that may impact the project timeline, such as delays, load dependencies, and changes in the scope. So with regards to the Weshare application, like we would say, the duration of the task, such as like the coding, testing, deploying, and maintenance. And the development time estimate would consider the time required for implementing features, debugging, and ensuring the code quality. And the maintenance time estimate would consider ongoing tasks such as monitoring the app, the updates, and the bug fixing. That's about it. And the effects of late delivery. So the late delivery of a project can have like several negative consequences, which include like the delayed realization of benefits. Users may be unable to access or benefit from the project outcome until delivery occurs, delaying the achievement of the project's objective. Another consequences would be increased costs, like delaying delivery may result in additional costs, such as overtime expenses, contract penalties, or lost revenue opportunity. And another consequence would be the damage to reputation. Late delivery can damage the organizational reputation and erode stakeholders' trust, like potentially impacting the future opportunities and relationship. So with regards to Weshare, the late delivery could lead to delayed user access, increased technical debt, and loss of competitive advantage. Users may be unable to access the application features on time, leading to frustration and dissatisfaction. Rushed development or deployment may result in poor quality, leading to maintenance issues and technical debt in the future. So yeah, that's about it for the cost and benefit analysis. Thank you.
Good day, I'm Nicola Kennedy and I will be doing the Weshare demo. Let's go here. From a design perspective, simplicity is key. The interface should be simple and clear to navigate. We shall go to student number 2. Off the bat, we are going into just logging in with an email to keep everything simple. And here we have the expense page, whereas when you spent your money, what you spent it on, the amount, and any pay requests or receipts, and that's the net worth or net expenses. Thank you so much. And then we'll just add a quick one, which is breakfast, which we did today. And this is just me adding an expense to show that it will pop up on the expense page. Let's see what student number 2. Student number 2 owes no one money. And let's see if they have any pay requests. Student number 2, lunch there. So this is something I owe. And I'm going to push pay, and it is paid. Let's log out and go see what student number 1 is doing. And this will show again the expense page, lunch, and this is how much people owe for said lunch. And student number 3 has not paid, but we just paid as student number 2. There we go. And that shows that I paid that. And let's log out. Oh, let's actually send another pay request to student number 3. So turn around, and it has to be, I'll give them 2 days to pay it back. And here we have the description of how much it owes. And we'll log out and go check what student number 3 has to offer. The expenses, pay request sent, nobody owes them anything. And here we have student number 3 is really asking for money back. And we'll push paid. And on student number 1, it will show that it's paid. So let's go back. This is student number 1. And let's go look at expenses on course, airtime, and it has been paid. So this is just examples of the expense page. The pay request sent, we have tested and received and paid. Thank you so much for joining me for my demo.
Hi, my name is Renai, and today I'm going to go through the back end of our web application project. Please enjoy. So first and foremost, the type of website we're running is a plain text user interactive website where users may be able to interact with the website to put in the values of how much they're charging other people and so and so. Okay, so we used HTML5 to create the website, its connections, and who accesses it through signing in with their email. So let me go there. As of now, we're running the website through our local host. Yes, this is the first page that a user might encounter when they go into the website. This is the login page where they have to log in using their email, where they enter the email, and then it goes into the other stuff such as the expenses, where it shows the types of expenses that a person has or how much they owe, such as the payments received and everything that you saw in the previous, in my colleagues, my teammates, yeah, demo. And as well as the layout, here we have the layout of, this is the main page of the website, where we have payment requests, payment received, expenses, and as of such, it shows it also shows you who you're logged in as, so that you're not confused. You can see that, okay, I logged in with the correct account. We used CSS to design the theme of the website, such as the borders, the paddings, the background, as well as like the types of letters we used, and such. We have the colors too, right? We also used normalize.css in order to fix the alignment of the website, like to correct the height of the website, to correct how big the website is, and also to correct the visibility so that we don't have any issues when a user is using the website, such as like the borders overlapping and no information being displayed. So okay, go to the present. These are tests. I will go to the test at a later stage. Right now, I'm gonna go through the payment request. So this is where a user submits a payment request for like the following expense. Like this is where you want to ask someone that, okay, they owe you something for this much. For example, let's say I'm with Nicole, who owes me. I asked them, okay, so the person is Nicole. So you input their email and then how much they owe you and whether they paid you or not. And if they haven't paid you, how much they owe you as well as like the date that they should pay you by, right? Yes. And then this is the payment request received, where you check whether, okay, I owe someone, how much do I owe them, and when my payment is due. This is where you check like your expenses, like when someone send you expense, right? And then this is the one where you sending your expense. This is where you're paying the amount that you due. um yes. um yeah, we also have a controller. We also have controllers where this is for the login page, and for the person that you're like you're asking to pay. So you're gonna need an email. If you don't provide an email, it's gonna ask you to provide the user's email that you're asking to pay you, so that like it may go to the correct person, instead of just going nowhere. So that the next time that other person logs in, they can see, okay, um, I owe someone this amount of money and when it's due. Otherwise, it's gonna fail if it doesn't have emails. This is the payment request controller. Here it's gonna ask you for like the ID, like if um this is to show the errors, so that okay, you're gonna need to fill in here in order to ask someone to pay you. Otherwise, it's not going to. This is code to show that okay, there's something missing here. Please fill in this part, as well as the person controller, like who is going to, like the email. We're using email instead of names, so because it's easier to work with. And this is the server. This is where everything runs. This is where everything runs. Like you get the user and the student and everything. So I'm gonna demonstrate that. You run the server. right? And then if you click the link, bruh, bruh, come on, bruh. Okay, let me just take this. Here we go. Yeah, so it takes you to the thing where you log in as student one. I'm sorry, I didn't see that it was open in the background. So it will take you to the website where you log in, check your expenses and everything that Nicola showed, and then you can log out or log in as a different account. These are the tabs I opened. Sorry. Okay. Right. And we also used test driven development in order to help us with the coding process of the web application, so that like we may know that okay, this is what we need to do, what doesn't work, what needs to work. So this is very important, so that like you can keep track of what you've worked on or what you haven't worked on, whether it works the way you intended it to work or not, so you can fix it. Right now, I'm gonna run the payment request test, just one of these sections, because if I run them, and also the expenses test, because if I run all of them at the same time, they're gonna take a while, because if we run them separately like this, it's a section in each itself. It's gonna take a while. Yeah, they pause. So these are some of the tests we used. Right. I'm gonna go back to the presentation. Yeah, so we used HTML5 to create the website, and we used CSS to create the properties of the website, such as the themes and how everything looks and is displayed. We talked about the normalizer CSS, and yeah, that's it for.
Hi guys, my name is Khatlisa and I'll be doing section E for Weshare, right? Yeah, for Weshare. So the question was, describe the use of available HTML editors and other website design maintenance tool, right? Okay, so I kind of wrote down everything that I think I'm gonna need, right? So the use of no, actually what I wrote down is the points, you know, the marking sheet, and I wrote down the points that I should use so that I don't forget. Okay, so the use of available HTML is to create and edit web pages, right? They provide features like syntax highlighting, completion of the code, and just basically kind of makes things easy. I think the example that I can use for HTML editors is like Visual Studio. You know, sometimes it kind of helps you with the syntax and completion of the code, so it just basically kind of makes your life a bit easy, if I would say. Yeah. And then advantages, right? The advantages, so we have to list the advantages and disadvantages, right? So the first advantage is it's user friendly. Number one, like it's very user friendly, and then you don't really need to know much about like code so that you can be able to understand it. Yeah, like what you see is basically what you get, so you don't really need to have extensive coding experience in order for you to actually understand what it's about, né? And then, like I mentioned in my thingy when I first started, that like when I first described the use of HTML, I did say that like kinda gives you the syntax as well, so it kind of makes things a bit easy for you. You understand? And it enhances productivity, because now imagine you have something that kind of finishes off your code and then shows you the correct syntax to use, and then if there's an error, like you literally see it's gonna highlight there, you know, if there's an error, and then you can just go and check where you made a mistake. You understand? Like when you click on that error, you can just be able to see where you made the mistake. So I kind of feel like it just makes your life a bit easy, right? And then the disadvantage, right? One disadvantage that I think I'll mention two. The first one is that like generated code, usually it's not very clean and efficient to use, rather than the code that's manually coded, right? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And then the second one is that it's dependent on the editor's update and support, you understand? So that's kind of another disadvantage about it. And then okay, so the other point was that I should okay, so the ones that I mentioned was for HTML editors, right? So now I have to list advantages and disadvantages for website design maintenance tools, right? So I'm just gonna mention one advantage for website maintenance tool, and then another disadvantage, like just one. It's not gonna be like the HTML editors, right? Sorry, I'm used to doing that. Okay, so the advantage is offer collaboration when you want to, maybe if you're doing a group project with other people, so you can actually collaborate with other people and do a website. So that's like one advantage. And then the disadvantage would have to be, the disadvantage will be the subscription. You know, the subscription is kind of high, so you're gonna pay so much money, and if maybe you're just a person who's starting out, it's kind of doesn't really make sense. Or if you don't have money, if you come from a disadvantaged background, then you won't have money to pay for the subscription, because you need to pay subscription just to get like more features, you understand? So it's kind of tricky. Okay, and then I had to mention important file formats associated with websites and their applications, right? Okay, so I'm gonna mention probably 4 or 2, right? Okay, so there's HTML obviously defines the structure of the web page and the content in it. And then the other one is like images, maybe such as PDF, JPEG or JEP. Okay, yeah, image formats, you know, yeah, the image formats so that you can be able to post to put pictures, and for visual, you know, like something has to be visually aesthetic, or even if like when there are pictures, like it becomes aesthetically pleasing as well. And then JavaScript for interactivity of the web page, and yeah, then the CSS, right? Okay, I don't know what CSS does. I think CSS kind of makes the layout and the presentation of the web page to look good. Like it controls the presentation of the layout of the web page.